This game has massive implications on the rest of the Boston Bruins season, as this game against the Vancouver Canucks was a major bounce back from what we have seen previously in this season with the Boston Bruins, and Joe Sacco has seemed to turn this team around. However, the teams can still not score, and this is a major issue the Bruins are going to have to fix immediately. So we're going to be talking about this game, what the big issue was in this game that, as I just mentioned, was the goal scoring, and what they need to do to fix this here in this video. Before we do, 70% of you guys watching right now are not subscribed to the channel. If you're looking for a spot to get all of your Boston Bruins news, you're in the right spot. Hit the sub button, join me here on the channel. We're covering everything Boston Bruins, and we got a lot of stuff to get into with this whole game. So without any further ado, let's get into it. As I mentioned, this game had really big implications on how the rest of this season and what moves Don Sweeney and the Boston Bruins need to make in the rest of this season as we progress further into becoming the Boston Bruins that we are missing all season. I want to pull up this first screenshot here, going over kind of the team stats, what we had seen in this game against the Canucks, as this was a dominant game for this team. 33 shots to Vancouver's 15. Every single opportunity the Bruins had the puck could have been in the back of the net. However, this team is on a very slow scoring streak, and one of the tops of that being David Pastrnak. Only 2 goals on the month of November, but even though those 2 goals came back-to-back games about a week ago, 2 weeks ago, there is still so much missing from this team on that goal-scoring side of things. And the team really seems to be feeding Pastrnak on the side of the puck on the power play, which is another major issue in this game, which I'm going to give credit to Joe Sacco just kind of getting into this role as head coach. Without the changes made to the power play, things are going to be changing over the next few days. And as we have a game tomorrow, or tonight at the time of this video coming out, against the New York Islanders, they're going to hopefully see a big power play change ahead of this game, because of what we've seen here in this game. It would have been better off if the Boston Bruins did not have any power plays with the way they were playing, with the way that this team was kind of operating and functioning here in this game. As I mentioned, talking about the lack of goal scorings and them being shut out, frankly, in this season. In the last 3 seasons, the Bruins have been shut out 10 times, and 4 of them have come in this first 23 games of the season. This comes from Mike Sullivan. A very good quote, kind of putting it into perspective of how this Boston Bruins team has really been lacking on the goal-scoring side of things. The defense, the goaltending, everything has gotten better on this team with Joe Sacco as the head coach, except the goal-scoring is still trailing behind. And there's going to be a multitude of things the Bruins are going to have to do with this. First of all, we have the options of bringing Poitras back up, Merkulov back up, putting Lysell into this lineup. The way that this team plays with Joe Sacco is nothing but the best opportunity for those 3 players and many other young players to become available for this lineup. The way we've seen Joe Sacco's team come out in these games, although they're not winning, as long as they're not scoring in these games as much as they would like to, they've been putting a heavy amount of offensive pressure on the teams they've been playing, putting a heavy amount of pressure on the goaltending, the defense, the offense, everything. We saw in this game. This is the perfect example to put this into perspective. They were around the offensive zone so much. So many shots that were either missing the net, either going wide, either putting it right into the chest of Kevin Lankinen, who had a very good game in this game. You have to give him credit there as well. Any other goalie, you probably would have scored a few, but 8-0 on the road for Kevin Lankinen, you got to give him credit. But the Bruins need to find that spark somewhere, whether that is on the inside of the team, whether that is via trade, whether that is having someone just put on a new line or a new power play or something. It needs to happen soon. And as I mentioned, Pastrnak being one of the players on this team who have really been on a cold goal streak the past month. It's 2 goals, 7 assists on the month. And as I mentioned, those 2 goals coming back-to-back games against the Stars and the Blues. But on a 4-game cold streak here for this upcoming game and a 5 tonight, there is a lot of things that the Bruins are going to have to kind of do to make sure that this team gets back into a rhythm. And if David Pastrnak's not scoring, the players are feeding David Pastrnak, knowing that he's a guy that can break that streak at some point. We have to make some moves, whether that is, as I mentioned, via trade, which I will get into in a minute, or something else. Something needs to happen. But I do have some quotes here after this game from Joe Sacco and Charlie McAvoy. We're going to touch on the Joe Sacco one first, and this is what he had to say. I'm sure they're frustrated, but we can't let that settle in on us. The guys need to go out and dig in. And I think that Joe Sacco puts this in a very good way. This team surely is frustrated, but there's no way that you can get down on yourselves, down on the team after playing a game like this. This, knowing what we've done, seeing and what we've been doing, so far this season, the beginning of it with Jim Montgomery, this has been a huge change. We've seen the momentum boost in the team. We've seen a very, very big increase in belief and hope in this team. And now it's just a matter of getting the puck in the back of the net, and we're going to be back to where we want to be in this season. And I do have another quote here from Charlie McAvoy, as I mentioned. He said this based on the goal scoring. The dam's going to break at some point. Just hope it's soon. And I completely agree. The way that this team is putting on offensive pressure, Charlie McAvoy knows it. He did have a rough turnover there on the empty net goal, but you had to score on that point, so you really just kind of got to pull full-out offense. But the way that he's putting this, the way that he's acknowledging that this team's offense is there, they just need to get that one final piece of the puzzle in, and then this team seems to be back to where we'd seen it be before. This Bruins team, what we thought we were going to see the beginning of this season, and hopefully that's where we end up very, very soon. But as I mentioned, is there a trade inbound? I don't know, but all I have to say is they need to make a trade. I've reported on a few from here, from Elliot Friedman, from Chris Johnson, many, many other reports that we've seen. Nothing has really seemed to spark in the interest of Don Sweeney, although all of these names are still being linked to the Bruins by these reporters, by these analysts, knowing that something has to be done for this team, but whether Don Sweeney does it or not is going to be out of my pay grade, and I have no idea. But another name that has been mentioned in along with the ones of Brock Nelson, Chris Kreider, Trevor Zegras, so many other names I've mentioned here in previous videos, and be sure to go check those out if you haven't already, and you kind of want to get some ideas of who those players could be and what they bring to this Boston Bruins team. We have another one from another article that I had seen before this game, and now with the implications this game had on our kind of trade market, something like this needs to happen sooner and sooner. I think every game we play, the Bruins are going to be looking for more and more goal scoring to get back into this rhythm. This time being Mikael Granlund from the San Jose Sharks. Mikael Granlund's been excellent for the Sharks this season. In 23 games, he has 9 goals and 24 points. This just after having 12 goals and 60 points in 69 games with the Sharks last season. With numbers like these, he could be a strong addition to the Bruins' top 6 if acquired. Now, you read that right. 9 goals and 24 points in 23 games on the San Jose Sharks. That is absurd. I had to look this up before I actually put this here in this video because I didn't know if that was correct. However, with the Sharks, I know he had some young, great teammates as well on this team. There are many players on the Bruins could match his ability or match their ability with Mikael Granlund. And seeing him put up this firepower in this season, there is no doubt in my mind that he is a player the Bruins should look at, should inquire about, go for the goal scoring, go for the offensive ability, and he's the definition of a player the Bruins are looking for with this slow streak. His offense is what he's known for. His goal scoring is another big piece of that. His goal scoring this season especially has been a thing that he's been looking for. That's what we need. The defense has not been too much of an issue, and even with a $5 million cap hit, I'm not going to go too much into a trade here in this video, as that's not what this is about. This is just saying that we need to make a move for somebody. Mikael Granlund's the one I chose for this video. I could have chose any number of those players, but looking at his $5 million cap hit, the Bruins have so many players, such as Charlie Coyle, Pavel Zacha, Morgan Geekie, Brandon Carlo, many of those names, Trent Frederic, that have a contract that you can trade in return that would really even out the cap space for these two teams, especially the Bruins, who are a bit tight to the cap ceiling. So the fact that we have the capabilities of doing this, teams like the Sharks, many other teams looking to add NHL-ready players as they get better and as we get closer to the playoffs, this is the perfect scenario. The Bruins have quite a hand advantage in a lot of these, but it's only a matter of time until we see what Don Sweeney does, if anything. And this, as I mentioned in the Chris Kreider video, could really be the piece that saves his career with the Boston Bruins. But let me know what you think about this game. Obviously, a very fun one. One of the most exciting games of the season so far. I was on the edge of my seat watching this. Even though it was a loss, I saw so much good potential with this team, and I'm very excited to see how this game tomorrow, or tonight, goes against the Islanders. But that's all I got in this video. If you did enjoy it, give it a like, hit the sub button as well. And, that's it. I'm signing out. Thanks for watching. Hope you have a great day. See you later.